Good evening, YouTube. We're finally back for another stream. Been off the grind for almost a week now. Probably been 5 days since we've streamed any drafts. I haven't done any drafts. Currently doing a slow draft. We can look at that real quick. It's my last Schnauzer draft that we have, but it's a 2-4-4-1 so far. Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Chase Brown, Joe Mixon, James Conner, Brian Robinson Jr., CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Jaden Reed, Trey Harris, David Njoku so far. We started out, if you couldn't tell, CeeDee, AJ Brown, and Chase Brown. A decent start there, but we're actually going to jump into a marathon draft. I do want to touch on the Jonnu news. Darren Waller to Miami. People will be drafting Darren Waller. Don't be the person that does. He hasn't played in about 2 years now, so I wouldn't get my hopes up with Darren Waller. He's kind of just dead in the water there. He's also, I want to say, 30 years old. So yeah, let's actually look at Darren Waller's age. 32 actually. So I mean, he's as good as dust in my opinion, having not played for a while and trying to come back. Just not going to work out. Assume that Miami does look to get another tight end from somewhere, whether that be like Michael Mayer. Shoot, it could be any tight end at this point. We thought Pat Freiermuth was a solid tight end for the Steelers and had a safe job, and then news over a month ago that Jonnu could go there. Then the news died down, and now Jonnu is there. So really nobody's safe at where they're at. So anything could happen. Anybody could go to Miami in terms of tight end. I want to say I heard rumors that Mark Andrews could go to Miami. That would be nuts. Would be arguably a better situation for Mark Andrews than being in Baltimore, potentially. More pass volume, for sure. Obviously more mouths to feed though. So to be determined there. We'll talk more about it if that happens. But yeah, Pat Freiermuth kind of just not draftable at this point. Maybe very late on Underdog, but not really. Jonnu still probably draftable, but let's see where he pitfalls to before trying to snag him. Yeah. Let's get into a draft. Actually, I do want to look at... Well, let's actually load up a marathon because I'm not sure how fast these will fill. Oh, never mind. Don't quote me. We have 3 people, but it's not very full. 75,000 entrants, only 15% full. 11,000 so far. Again, this is cumulative scoring, so you just got to score the most points. Literally hit on all cylinders. Weeks 1 through 17. So don't really have the biggest strat going in there. We can definitely try to look at the easiest schedules. Could use some sharp football analysis. Teams with the easiest schedules, the 49ers. Teams with the hardest, the Giants, Browns. Well, that's just great because, bad offenses in New York and Cleveland, and they have a hard schedule, is not how you want that to shape up for them. The other 3 you're kind of high on for the offenses. Easiest schedules, a bunch of good offenses or potentially good offenses. The Saints, maybe not so much, but you do have Kellen Moore there, a great play caller. Tyler Shuck could be not the worst quarterback in the league. And we'd know Olave, Shaheed, and Kamara are good talents, so. And Juwan, if you want to throw him in there. So you could draft kind of off that. I wanted to look at... Wait, Best Ball Mania. Okay, so that's not up. Man, I really wanted to see that. Marathon, we just lost two people in queue, so we're 5 away. Um, you can kind of look at a strategy here. So if we're looking at Pete Overzet, the marathon cumulative points contest with no playoffs, $15 buy-in, million total and prizes, 100K to first. Like we said, cumulative scoring. Um, promos. It's kind of a cheeky one. Where are we at in the lobby? 6 of 12. We're losing people in queue in the marathon. We might not get this filled. What else could we enter? Not really anything. Could do another weekly winners. I don't really want to do that. Let's just talk more about the marathon. Hope that it fills. But yeah, for purists trying to just have the best team. All about hitting on the league winners. The winning team last year had Burrow, Henry, Kamara, Brown, Hubbard, Chase, McLaurin, Judy, Mooney, and McBride. Team last year only had 2 QBs, 2 tight ends, 1 upside at each position. Late round QB or late round tight end builds are less viable in this format. You're less likely to find a player with a monster ceiling at those positions. In the double digit rounds, I agree. See, like here, like early and late season production in this format, agreed. Just trying to hit it all right. Looking for upside. Get the onesies is finding elite production either by spending up early or finding the breakouts. We should often be mixing throughout our portfolio elite guys in the early rounds or late guys with breakout upside. What we are trying not to do is take a safe approach and grab three safe QBs or tight ends. We can still grab 3 at QB or tight end, but each one should have a path to breakout season. We usually prefer going with only 2 QBs as it gives us more outs at the positions to hit on the players that post breakout seasons. Agreed. So if we look at our previous marathon we did, 2592, so kind of what they said. We went Lamar, Gino. Tight end, we went Andrews, Tucker, Kraft. So both guys that are, Andrews has been the tight end one before. We just talked about him potentially moving to Miami. That would be great for him too. Tucker Kraft could potentially be the wide receiver one, the one overall in terms of targets in Green Bay. And then obviously Lamar has it in him to be the number one quarterback. Geno Smith can, for where he goes, can definitely surprise some people. With Genty, Bowers, Jacoby Myers, decent offense. Hopefully the line's better and they can protect him. But we'll see about that. And then just also like Hampton could be a smash. we never know, especially if Najee gets hurt. Jacobs as well. Aaron Jones, Rashad White could still be a smash. Rico Dowdle as well. High upside with, if we run pure for Bucky and Chuba to go down, especially at ADP. Obviously, Jefferson could be a smash. Jameson Williams, if Amon-Ra goes down. Kobe Myers with Geno, we just talked about. Josh Downs could also be a smash. Abuka, same thing. I actually really like this team. D-Hop probably not doing a ton for this team, but never know. Slayton has outlets to being like better than what his 190 pick is. Ray McLeod, same thing. Amanor. Who knows what happens in Tennessee? But just a pretty crazy build there, in my opinion. Actually, I really like that team. Man, I'm really hoping this fills. Uniqueness, the only thing better than hitting on the breakout player is if you hit on the breakout player that isn't drafted in the majority of drafts. So again, Ray McLeod or a League Amanor. Or Ayuman, or whatever you want to say. Like, these two guys definitely aren't taken in every draft. So chances there for them to hit. Think of it like hitting on a low price DFS guy that goes for 3 TDs. Not only did you hit hard, but you're getting amazing leverage on the field. Considering which players at each position have not been drafted throughout the year, but if things go right, could be a huge part of your team. So let's take a look right now at the marathon rankings. Let's see if anybody has rankings for this. No. I wonder if I can see. Hold on, let me go to results from last year. Let's look at the marathon. Doesn't look at the winner's team. I was watching it on, I want to say it was on Pete Overzet's channel, which is the Fantasy Life website we're on. But a lot of these guys did have like Chase Brown, Jamar Chase. But one thing too to note is like there were some zeros on these teams. Like a couple had like 1 or 2. I think one even had 3 guys that were zeros on some of these teams. So pretty cool. The contest is definitely different this year. Last year was 2 million in prizes, so the payout's obviously higher. This year it's only 1 million. It didn't fully fill last year. And I mean, a chance this year that it doesn't fully fill as well. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what to do. We're not gonna be able to get any like good rankings there for the marathon, at least free. But we can take a look ourselves. We're 7 out of 12 now. We might not actually even get a draft in tonight, but we'll see. Let's go to the marathon. And if we're just looking at the current rankings here and how they differ to the season rankings, like Jefferson's all the way at 2. Barkley, Bijan ahead of Jefferson in marathon rankings. Gibbs ahead of Lamb. So the running backs are a little bit ahead. One thing to note though is like I said, most of the teams had Jamar Chase last year. So obviously he got the wide receiver 1 and he was in the back half of drafts, or more like middle. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was more middle last year. Yeah, but they had Jamar Chase. They had that late round running back in Chase Brown. or that later round running back smash in Chase Brown. So it's about hitting on, at least in terms of last year, like I think Burrow was a big part of the teams too, but like hitting on that middle round QB, that early receiver, the elite receiver to be the one. So like Lamb, it's probably the best bet. Lamb or Nico, at truly being the one that has some value mid to later rounds in the drafts. Obviously, Neighbors and Puka and Beat Thomas have like, and London have outs. I think London's another good one that you could get. Like London, Collins, and Lamb would be my highest to say like values in drafts that could be the one. And then obviously Amon Ra and like Brian Thomas, Neighbors, Puka all have outs to getting there, but Neighbors, I just don't think there's good enough quarterback play or good enough offense in my opinion. And the defense is still kind of good. So like when you think about how the Bengals were last year, where the defense is just so shit that the offense has to put up 30 plus a game, kind of like how the Steelers used to be with the Killer Bees with AB, Le'Veon, and Big Ben, where you know that trio was just dominating every week because that team was putting up 30 plus a week point wise because the defense was so bad. So like you're trying to find that too is something that could be big. Dallas, their defense could be, it's hard to go off last year's rankings as well, but if we're just looking at like Dallas's depth chart, I mean, I don't know if I want to look at Reddit for this stuff, but Cowboys at 10, making a lot of ifs. I said I think they could finish between 1 and 32. This is Bleacher Report. So they just copied what Bleacher Report put out. I don't really trust Bleacher Report for that insight there. So let's just look at like defensive line rankings. Steelers are going to have a good defense, that's for sure. Harmon, Hayward, Benton, Highsmith, Watt is like crazy. Eagles in line to have another good defense. Like I said, the Giants are going to have a really good pass rush and a good defensive line, which could make up for lack of cornerback play. So I think the Giants defense might actually be like kind of good, where they're not passing a ton. But the kicker is, I mean, they do have one of the hardest schedules, so maybe they do end up having to throw a lot. The Eagles, looking at the strength of schedule, they're kind of, they have a hard schedule actually. Not that it matters that much, but hopefully they have to pass more, which wouldn't necessarily be good for Saquon, would be better for AJ Brown, but I also don't see AJ Brown ever being the wide receiver one with all these other receivers getting 150 plus targets, and AJ Brown's only done that I think once. The 106 receptions, yeah. What's AJ Brown's highest fantasy? What are his highest fantasy week or finishes? Last year, not good. In 2023, AJ Brown was 8th in points per game. That was CD's number 1 year. 2022, AJ Brown was 8th again. So same thing. I just don't think AJ Brown has it. The talent's there, the volume's not. And that offense, for him to ever get there. So 2021 Cooper Cup. AB. But yeah, that's that. The Texans again, Nico Collins, but the other thing there is like the defense is good. Now there's a new coordinator which hopefully they look to pass more than they did last year, where they were just so run heavy. But if the defense is good, and their schedule's on the harder side though, so they should look to pass more. Less competition for Nico now that Tank's hurt again and Stephon Diggs is gone and Nico's finally going to be like fully healthy. We're at 8 out of 12 full. Come on, we'll get in the marathon. Looking at the Bills, nobody there in terms of receiver that you're truly stoked about. Keon Coleman could be someone that scores like 10 touchdowns or has a big touchdown like share in that offense. If Josh Allen stops scoring so many rushing touchdowns and decides to throw for 30 plus, 40. Don't know if that actually ever will happen though. Kind of a big if. I do like targeting like Ray Davis is someone that could be big in the Bills offense. That could be like the sleeper pick, especially if James Cook gets hurt, carries the ball less. They already had a pretty decent split last year. The Lions, we're looking here. We just talked about it. But again, I don't think that the Bills just want to run the ball still. Josh Allen's so good. It's just they just want to run the ball, play defense. Especially in Buffalo, where like, teams have to go into Buffalo in the cold weather. They're just gonna run the ball and make defenses stop them. And Buffalo does have a really easy schedule, so probably not gonna be trending towards the high passing ceiling there. Detroit, Aiden Hutchinson should be back. I haven't looked at his status. But the defense should get a little better offensive line wise. Pass defense though was very bad last year. They got in a lot of shootouts. I don't expect them to be that much better. They got a tougher schedule this year too, so probably gonna have to throw the ball more. So Amon-Ra technically could be up there. My bet, like I like Jameson Williams more for the upside play. Sam Laporta is another good like tight end to target in this because later in drafts you're not spending as much capital. And I still don't think Amon-Ra has exactly what it takes to get there. The Browns, good defensive line, tough schedule, suspect quarterback play, but I do like I don't like Judkins. I don't like the running backs that much, but Judy, Njoku, good targets. Tillman, nice. We did get a draw. We got a lobby. Sweet. We're at pick 10. Where did we pick last time? Beautiful draft. We were at pick 3 last time. So we shall see what falls to us. I kind of want to keep note in the back of my head too, like who we drafted. But since we're on the other side of the board, I don't think it matters that much. But I do think good targets, like I said, are gonna be like who we mentioned before, and we can obviously scroll down and look more. But again, it's more about hitting the later round RBs that have paths to be the one on their offense. Even just like if Pacheco hits, could be big. If Jordan Mason hits over Aaron Jones, wouldn't say Jalen Warren necessarily. Scatabo if he proves to be the one there. Big one, Ray Davis, in my opinion. Don't want to be betting on too many rookies. Um, Jalen Wright's good for this format as well. Yeah, but we'll get more into that as we scroll and look more. Well, this one definitely not trying to do a 3 QB or 3 tight end. Well, maybe one or the other, but not doing 3 for both. Gibbs off at 5, Bijan and Barkley. So we're kind of just straight through with ADP here. I do love Nico, and I want to be betting on Nico. We'll just see what happens here, though. Let's rip Nico Collins. Like I said, definitely a guy that could get there. I really think Drake London could get there. Achan's also a good pick here. Yeah, I think we go Achan with the recent news in Miami that John is gone. So we start Nico Achan, kind of go with a balanced build there. London would have been my pick, but we'll start balanced. The other one we did. Let me look at the other one we did. We started Jefferson, Jacobs, Lamar, Hampton. So yeah, we fell behind a receiver there, which I don't want to happen here. We are in line to get quarterbacks. Actually, maybe not. Quarterbacks go really early in this. We're in line to get Jaden or Jalen, potentially. Otherwise, in terms of people that I like later, quarterback wise, that could be obviously Dak. I'm high on Dak this year. Fields is a guy that could be decent. Late round guy that can hit it. Especially with the Jets. They have kind of middle of the pack, strength of schedule. I don't think their defense is gonna end up being that great this year. They just don't have a good line, which means their secondary is not gonna be able to hold up. Stroud's also another one. I'd kind of like Kittle around here. Chase Brown off at 29. See if Kittle falls to us. It's just still speaking of guys that could be good. Marv off. I don't love JSN. JSN goes, so I don't have to love JSN. Let's roll Devontae there. Leaves us open for Stafford, who I do think has a pretty high ceiling. I like Kittle as a onesie. Jaden goes. I still like Jaden or Jalen as a one-off. Could even pair him with Goddard or Shipley later. Jaden Evans Williams off. Do I take the Brees dip or do we go Kittle? Brees is gone. I think we go Kittle. Just lock down that elite tight end. I like our routes to quarterbacks here with Stafford and CJ. We're probably gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go 3 quarterbacks though. So Fields as well. Unstack Fields, or could even just go like Mason Taylor late. Is something that I wouldn't mind. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how it plays out. So officially a 0-1-2-1 start. We'll just see how the lobby goes. Hurts on right after us. Guy goes Henry, London, JSN, Jalen Hurts. So again, the one-off. I like this draft. Probably not a lot of Nico Achan teams if I had to guess. That team goes Chase, Allen, Wilson, Burrow. Crazy amount of capital spent on quarterback. Obviously, he's not going to need quarterback now, but and hits Chuba early. I respect it. I mean, a little crazy for sure, but Burrow could run it back and Allen could be one. But how much does quarterback matter at that point when Josh Allen's probably hitting your lineup more so than Joe Burrow? TBD. My opinion, you know. I do like Ridley here. It's kind of right at ADP, so not like. Never mind. Ridley goes. Let's just go Waddle. Again, leaves us a path to Tua. We go HN, we go Waddle. Kind of how like we almost have to go Tua betting on that. Betting that Tua stays healthy. Kind of like how Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase were rolling last year. Receiver hungry room for sure. I think we hit Harvey here. Damn, our running backs both have week 12 buys. Not the greatest thing. Definitely not the best there, but 0231 build. Nico Achan, Adams, Kittle, Waddle, Harvey. Feel pretty good about it. Besides having the the bye weeks paired up with our running backs. Not the greatest there. But we may have to reach on Tua. Not that confident that he comes back at 154, considering the Tyreek drafter is right here. So kind of gross. We'll just kind of continue to scan the board. I thought about getting a Olave there. But we'll see. We definitely don't want to get lost in quarterback land. Again, you need an out to someone that could be like high upside guy. They don't have to be quarterback one per se, but they do need to be able to finish like how Joe Burrow did last year. So if you're like top 4, top 5, they definitely need to be strong. So Burrow was 3 in points per game, and he was 3 in overall. Actually tied with Baker in overall. So Burrow and Baker tied last year. But really, yeah, you just need a top 5 guy. Especially in Burrow that was going later than, or Baker, or Daniels. So these 3 were later in drafts last year. Same thing if we're looking here. Not really Allen Hurts, Lamar, kind of typical stuff there. But like Dak, you can find a guy late, and Jordan Love. Got it done 2 years ago. So we'll just kind of see what we can snag. If we do want Hurts, or not Hurts, Fields, it's going to have to be soon here. But looking at upside here, guys that could be, I don't think Shakir has that in him. Definitely consistent floor player. Pollard might be able to do it for us. Diggs could be good this year. Pollard off. Do we want to go Shakir or Jaden Reed? Let's go Jaden Reed as our 4th guy. Maybe get some more gadget looks. Maybe they throw the ball a little more. Jordan Love stays healthy. Gives us another out to quarterback as well. Running back a bit more of a premium in this format as well. We're going to go ahead and take Justin Fields here. We have an out to Mason Taylor late. We do need running back badly. So definitely on the way back, 106, 111 puts us in for like Jordan Mason, whom I like. I guess Scadaboo. I don't mind ETN, I guess. Ramondre's there. I do like Ramondre. And Tajay and Ray Davis. Ray Davis probably makes it back the next time though. Again, I do like this zone of running back for hitting the right guys. Definitely super balanced build. I mean, we go receiver, running back, receiver, tight end, receiver, running back, receiver, quarterback. We're kind of keeping it like fresh just overall. Dude at one that took Chase and Wilson and Allen and Burrow goes Hubbard, Johnson, Pacheco, Ingram. Pretty light at receiver, but I mean, you can hit some guys late for sure. I like the vision. I thought about going T like Hawkinson here. But no. Definitely could have went Hawk Kittle, but I don't think there's a need for that. Kittle week 14 bye. Ayuko's off at 100 again. He's not really chance he doesn't play a lot this year, or doesn't play to like a high level. It's coming back around. I do like Jordan Mason at running back. I don't really want Scadaboo, considering we already have another rookie running back. Kind of skeptical that Jordan Mason even makes it back. Does not make it back, so. So now it's like, what do I want to do here? We need a running back. It's ugly, but we'll go ETN. We could always take Tank as well. I feel kind of dirty that like I don't feel great about it. I feel dirty, but meh, whatever. Could double down on Higgins and Nico. I don't mind Shaheed here. I like Ramondre here, actually. Someone that I think could be good. Yeah, we're going to lock in Ramondre. So we roll with a 1-4-4-1 build. I feel better about my running backs. Could have went Jaden Higgins to set up CJ Stroud. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to get CJ Stroud. This guy's going to go CJ Stroud on the way back. Jordan Love off at 113. Drake May and Justin Herbert all off. Jared Goff goes. Huge running quarterback. McCarthy goes. Everyone just making sure they get their quarterbacks. So, a little ugly for us there. We're not going to get Stroud back. We could stack Lawrence and go Strange. Late as well. We do have Lawrence with ETN. We also have an out at Dammy Brown later. That's if T-Law, we should get T-Law because Brian Thomas is after us, so that actually is a potential for us, and I don't mind Trevor Lawrence, to be honest. Now that I'm thinking about it too. No, I don't think that guy goes. He has two quarterbacks. He has Hurts and Dak. He might not go Stroud. If I have Fields and Stroud, I feel a little more comfortable. Just if he lets him get to me. If he rolls three quarterbacks with it. But again, guys that I like around here, I do like Spears. The Ray Davis thing, definitely something that I like. We do go Stroud. I mean, we don't necessarily need three quarterbacks, something we can make a decision on, and something we don't have to decide right away with Stafford later. This is like the moment of truth here if he decides to go three quarterback or not. Tons of running backs on the board for him. Tons of different builds here. 2251, 1441, 2332, 1360. So a lot of guys doing different things. I think getting another quarterback is a lot of capital for this guy. He's gonna let it bleed down. Go Spears. We're gonna go Stroud. So we lock in Fields and Stroud. Big for us. Guy behind us has Andrews Warren. Really need receiver. It's more so just which receiver we want to dabble into here. Marvin Mims feels kind of gross, but go Mims or Hollywood. Take Mims, whatever. I don't know if I like Kirk in this format. I don't know. Tough to say. I mean, you're fighting with Kirk and Higgins. That's three wide receivers. I'm not saying that I love Mims either. But I don't know if you want to double stack in this contest. You do, I mean, you do want to concentrate in offense. We have Mims and Harvey. I think it's a little better than being right there with Nico and Kirk. We do have Stroud, but we'll see if that comes back and bites me in the ass. Stafford goes to... He just goes. That guy just needed a quarterback. So he takes him. Probably going to end up with like Tutu Atwell or somebody. Like, same with this guy, just taking Bryce Young because it's a quarterback. So Tua probably doesn't make it back to us. I'd imagine the guy that has one quarterback in Mahomes is going to end up just like taking Tua. He could roll with like Danny Dimes, or I guess Sam Darnold in the bag. He does double stack worthy with Hollywood and Mahomes. Again, I wish I was looking at the database to see the marathon teams, to see what the stackage was like. And if anybody did successfully double stack. Yeah, Tua goes, as I suspected, just because he literally needs a quarterback. But dude, you're going unstacked Tua is just dirty, dude. That's so gross. Like, disgusting behavior because you need a quarterback. Like, brother. Again, I vouch for having some kind of chat in here to talk shit, because we just have bird brains in here. People with red badges that probably gambled too much of their lives away have bird brains. Like, who are you gonna backstack with Tua? Darren Waller? Maybe. Gross, to say the least. I do like League here. We could double with Bigsby and ETN. Not my favorite move, but it's an idea. Don't know how many running backs we're gonna go. He's probably gonna take League. This guy's taking like everybody that I've wanted. He goes Bigsby, so we're gonna go League. Hopefully we can let Mason Taylor just roll back to us next round. For the wide receiver rooms, Collins, Adams, Waddle, Reed, Mims, Leggett. I think I like Tillman more. What's the take on like taking Josh Palmer? I don't mind Braylon Allen with Justin Fields. What do you have? 6 receivers? Let's go Braylon Allen. We have Fields. Let's just absorb all the rushing touchdowns in New York. So we're at a 2-5-6-1 build. Fields, Stroud. We would like to get Taylor to have 2 tight ends. Probably only going to be 2 quarterbacks here now that Tua went and Stafford went on the other side of the board because people were freaking out. Stafford goes at 139, just freaking out, not being able to get quarterbacks. Quarterbacks just uber pushed up in this room. But yeah, I mean, A lot of young bucks on this team, mixed with old head Devontae and Kittle. But guys without the running back one or just like high ceilings. So Harvey, obviously Chan has the out to one. Fields has the out to a top five, and Stroud, in my opinion, based off his rookie season. So you get the rushing upside with Fields, and then hopefully more passing volume in Houston with Stroud. If we did opt to take another quarterback, like it's completely possible to take like a Richardson. I wouldn't really vouch for anybody else. I don't have outs for anybody else really. I would have said like Rodgers, Calvin Austin, but honestly, the only stack that feels nice with Rodgers now is DK. If we wanted to, we could take like a swing at Darnold and Corey Horton. Never mind, Darnold goes anyway, so it's like the outs there at Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, and taking like an Adonai Mitchell, TJ Giddens type thing. But I don't think we're gonna do that. I think we just roll with the two quarterback meta that we love so much. Again, we're not really trying to advance. We're really just trying to win. But again, if we're talking about running backs that have outs, like ETN, yeah, he's in a three-way backfield, but if he does win that job, expect the offense to be good with Liam Cohn as well. Could be like a decent running back. For Mondre, same thing. Should still see some volume there. Hopefully just a better offense with a really good offensive line. Should get goal line touches. That's not a thing that Travion Henderson really ever did. That was Quinshon Judkins at Ohio State. So, if he just rolls with like 10, 11, 12 touchdowns, same with Braylon Allen, like that's huge for us. And then Nico, we know the path there. Devontae, if Puka gets hurt, which he has like every season so far, there's a path there for big weeks. Waddle, same thing. If Tyreek freaks out, gets hurt, whatever. And Johnny's gone now, so now that should open up more for him with him, Achane, and Tyreek kind of concentrated. Jaden Reed, hopefully more passing volume with Jordan Love healthy. Jordan Love balled out 2 years ago. Marvin Mims, Bo Nix could take another leap, step up. Good gadget player. Could score touchdowns. We're almost on the board here. Rico Dowdle, another one of my favorite picks in this area. We do need a receiver, though. I do like Will Shipley as well. We have 5 running backs. We don't need running back. Let's go. Let's go pop. Made the bet on Ramondre. It's also a team where we could probably rip through receivers, even though we took Kittle. We still have out to tight end. Or at quarterback. So Mason Taylor off the board. Damn, dude. All right, so we're just raw dogging. Sure, let's just go Will Shipley. So we're kind of just raw dogging it at tight end right now. Come back around, take like Juwan, Theo, Tavion. I wasn't even looking that he needed tight end. He goes Freiermuth, dude's on drugs. Like, yeah, buddy. Pittsburgh's gonna be able to feed 3 tight ends. Yeah, you're definitely right. I guess we should have gone Mason Taylor just to ensure the stack. But we need a receiver. And I liked Pop there. Thought we had it in the bag. Didn't realize that. Could have went Schultz, I guess. Instead of Shipley. But I like Shipley's upside. 2, 6, 7, 3 is gonna be our build. Shuck off to the Olave Shaheed team. That dude has 3 running backs. Saquon, James Cook. What? Saquon, James Cook, and Zach Charbonnet? Dude, somehow Miles Sanders is still there and he's gonna get that. That's crazy to me. Juwan Johnson goes, so not great for us. Tight end land is blowing up in our face. I will not take Darren Waller. Could take a swing at some of these rookies or younger guys. What's the deal with Tyler Conklin? Like, he's not bad. Or Rondé Gatson. Jatavion goes. Daniel Jones goes. Moment of truth. Do we get Dalton Schultz all the way back to us? I mean, I like Noah Gray still, too. That's TJ Hawkinson and Kyle Pitts. I don't know if he needs another tight end. And he already has Kirk and Noel and Higgins. Good lord, brother. What are you doing? What is that? That's the craziest shit I've ever seen. So unstacked Hurts, which is negligible. But unstacked Dak? What are we doing? This dude's out of his mind. Now I guess question is 2672. Are we gonna roll another tight end here? Yeah, we'll roll another tight end. Damn, that was useless though. They both have the same buy. Should have went 2-2. Not the biggest fan of Troy Franklin. Theo Johnson. Probably should have went like Terrence Ferguson or Tyler Higbee. Where does Higbee even go? He's way down here. He's not even going in this format. Yeah, it's kind of I definitely scuffed that Theo Johnson pick. Should have definitely went Terrence Ferguson just because we have Devontae, but whatever. 2-6-7-3 build, Field Stroud. Could definitely see the top 5 there. Etienne, Harvey, Etienne, Ramondre, Allen, Shipley. All guys with a high touchdown upside or outs to being the one. A couple of them contingent to being the one, obviously, with injuries. But high upside guys. Nico, Adams, Waddle, Reed, Mims, Liggett, Douglas. Guys that all should look to make leaps in their offenses. At least the young guys with Liggett. Hopefully Mims builds upon into his 3rd year. So you got Liggett going into his 2nd year. Mims hopefully in his 3rd year breakout with a better bow next season. Reed, someone coming into also I think his 3rd year, looking for that breakout. Waddle, condensed offense. And then again, earlier in the stream we talked about it. Adams, like not contingent on Puka, but if Puka did get hurt, like even better. And then Nico's just the alpha there. Demario Douglas, he'll get targets. He was just a guy. Again, there I probably should have taken my my Mason Taylor is where I messed up the most in this draft. Just taking Pop Douglas instead. Where I could have taken Mason Taylor and probably came back around and got an Alec Pierce, a Darius Slayton, someone else of that type. But I didn't. So that's my bad. Messed that draft up just a tiny bit at the end. But we do get Will Shipley. Schultz and Theo Johnson. Definitely no outs for these guys to be tight end 1, just kind of there to slot points for Kittle. But having both the week 14 bye is going to hurt. Hopefully Dalton Schultz, A, doesn't get hurt, and B, can ball out in week 14. Now that we got it, we have a lot of week 14 buys. 5. Oh well, we'll see how that rolls. I don't mind that draft. Drafts completed. That one's still good on now. That one's done. Oh, I don't think I took anybody in this. Yeah, I took all new people, but that was fun. Like I said, chat, we're gonna do 10 marathons by the start of the season, so we have 8 more to go, and there's 2 months to the season, so about 1 a week. Like I said, still also have 7 more weekly winners to do. Hoping this Pitbull fills up, the Corgi, and the Puppy Superflex all fill up here going into the holiday weekend, and we can finally get a new puppy. Oh, I can't wait to get like a fast puppy, a slow puppy, a puppy to something. The Greyhound's almost filled too. Man, that'll be such a relief to get that. So it's exciting for us. I like to enter the Greyhound. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. We'll talk with my partner about that, but appreciate y'all for watching. What's the only draft we're going to do today? We're an hour in. The 30-second pick clocks suck. I like doing the 20 seconds, and it took a while to get into that draft, but if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications for when we go live. That would be huge for us. Drop a comment below. We'll answer anything and everything that you have, especially regarding fantasy football or just everyday life. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you sign up Underdog, and with the link in the description, code Temptation. Or deposit match right now. What are the promos? Let me actually look. Yeah, friends get first deposit match up to $1,000, so that's sweet too. Also, we get a little $10 bonus for everyone that signs up. You guys will get that code as well. But again, appreciate y'all for coming out, and we'll catch you next time.